Good evening, and welcome to the 2024 Burgh FF pre-draft lottery video. I'm your host and commissioner, Dave, also owner and team manager of Caitlin's Balls of Courage. We got a lot to go over. I'm going to try to keep it brief, so sit back and relax. Quick agenda. We're going to go over the 2023 standings, 2024 rule changes, and as well as a much anticipated draft lottery. And before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to honor America and our troops by listening to the national anthem. If you're wearing a hat, please remove it. Emotional. Don't worry about those goosebumps. They'll go away in a few minutes. The 2023 final standings. Dave claimed his third victory in the last 5 years. Dynasty, anybody? Marcus, even with his super team, all of his star-studded keepers, just fell short again. Hate to see it. Ryan, third place. Solid, respectable. You're on the podium, but I know you had higher aspirations. Maybe this is your year. Jeff, Luke, Riley, Mitch, Nate, Nick, Willie, just typically fodder most of the time. Thank you for your donations as always. Look how happy you guys are on the benches though watching us. Shout out to the Olympic team. Couldn't reach the 2023 winner for an interview. Sometimes those time slots just don't work out. But he wanted to thank God, his family, and his friends for sucking at fantasy football. And he hopes next year he can run it back and go back to back. So you guys voted on 10 different rule changes, roughly. We're going to go over all those results today. Pay attention. There will be some changes to the league. Starting up with the first question. How do you want the divisions broken up? One big division or two smaller ones? Overwhelmingly passed. The league will go from 2 5-team divisions to 1 10-team division. Do you want to edit the number of keepers? No. Tried coming up with something that might interest you guys, but we'll revisit this next year. Maybe there's more appetite to keep people. Do you want to change the wide receiver / tight end slot to something different? And you guys voted 6-4 to change that wide receiver tight end slot to a flex. So there will now be 2 flexes in the league. It's really the same thing. Obviously, you can just add a running back now if you so choose. Those orange exclamation points, pay attention to those because those mean a significant change to the league this year. Any scoring changes? No. Again, we'll revisit this next year, see if the appetite for it is different. Fab, free agency acquisition budget. That did pass 6-4. So now when you're doing your waiver wire additions, it's a blind auction. You basically have a certain amount of fab, you bid it on a player, highest bidder takes it. If you bid $40 and somebody bid $2, well, you win the person and you don't get that difference back. So be strategic. And because this rule is going into effect, do you want to adjust the cost to keep a free agent? That was 5-5, but I'm pushing it through because now waiver wire additions are going to be more strategic, not just, oh, my team sucked balls for the first 2 weeks, so I get Kyron Williams and you don't. We'll see how it goes. One important thing to note is that your free agents you drafted last year are going to count as a 6th-round pick this year. This rule goes into effect next year. That way people can't vote on this and say, oh, well, my free agent that I was going to add, I want him to count for a 7th round instead of a 6th round. This question was just kind of picking your guys' brain. Pre-draft video, you can check that off the list. I'm going to try to do my best with doing memos. Sometimes I forget. If you guys want a trophy, if everybody could pitch in a couple dollars so we could just get a trophy as opposed to me making something retarded, that'd be appreciated. So think about that. Do you want to change the number of teams to make the playoffs, even though we've had 7 teams since this league was even thought of? Apparently, yes. We will go to 6 teams make the playoffs this season as opposed to the historical 7. So if you're on the bubble, you might not make it this year. Although I did win the league as a 7 seed last year, it's only been done a couple times the past decade or so. Granted, the 7 seed beat the 1, 2, and 3 seed last year, so might be some recency bias in the voting. Do you want to change how teams make the playoffs? This was voted down. I don't even know if I have this power, but at the end of the season, I'm going to find out if I have the power. And if I do, maybe this goes into effect next year. The idea would be top few guys get in based on record, the next couple based on points for, but we'll revisit that next year. The last question, the free response. 2 people put they wanted nudity, specifically more nudity. And I am a man of the people. Natalie Portman, honorable mention, just didn't make the list. Couldn't really find that picture that had the correct je ne sais quoi that I was looking for. But a lot of talent up there. I think we can all agree. And now, the moment really everyone's been waiting for, the 2024 lottery. And to introduce our contestants. The 8th overall place finisher last year, Nathan Nolting. 2 years ago, Nate came 2nd, but boy, does that seem like an eternity. He finds himself in the lottery this year because the parity of this league is just unmatched, really unparalleled, if you ask me. Post-draft team grade last year, the question was brought up, and a fair one, has the guru lost his touch? Apparently he did last year. And is this a sign of things to come? Is Nate finally reverting to the mean? We'll find out. Your 9th place finisher from last season, Nicholas Bracey! Nick got married, he has a kid, he's very important at his job. Does he have too many distractions? 2 bad years in a row, from 10th place last year, 10th place 2 years ago to 9th place last year. You know, he won his first year in the league and used up all of his luck in that one season. Now he's just floundering to even get to 500. Good luck this year, buddy. And finally, your 10th place team, the guy who has the best odds to win it all in the draft lottery this year, is none other than William Lytle! For legal purposes, I have to say, I don't know if Willie has a drinking problem, but I know he doesn't have a problem drinking. He might look like Jesus, but Jesus certainly did not draft his fantasy football team last year. Willie, keep it under control this year. Don't get hammered at the draft. You want to have a chance. And as always, we like to draft from Radio City Music Hall, keeping it classy. There are no ping pong balls this time. I apologize. That is at the Ferris Estate, but I do have paper. 10 numbers, all going in the hat. The numbers for everybody have already been pre-randomized, as you will see on the following screen. And let's get into it. Look at Willie, Nick, and Nate. They look so cute, surrounded by family and friends. And it's time to commence the 2024 Burgh FF Draft Lottery. And we're off. All these numbers I'm picking are eliminated. 6. Nate, off the rip, loses a number. Terrible. Next, number 2. Nick loses a number. Willie's still sitting pretty. 3. Uh-oh, we're just going around the board. Everyone lost one. Whoops. 10. Nick and Nate down to one number. Boy, Willie doesn't win this. Tragic. 5. Nick has been eliminated. Sorry, Nick. Tough go. 8. Willie loses a number. 1 to 3. 1 to 3. Number 1. Willie loses another number. 7. Willie, again. 2 numbers left. The number I pull will be the winning number of the lottery. And the pick is in. It's number 9. Willie, congratulations. You won the 2024 Draft Lottery. You're officially on the clock. So in conclusion, remember the rules for this year. A lot of rule changes. Draft August 27 at 8:30 p.m. Keepers are due a day before the draft. And Willie, you are officially on the clock. You have a deadline of August 13th to select your draft position. If you do not meet that deadline, you'll be defaulted to the highest remaining pick. Once somebody picks their draft slot, it goes in reverse order. Not reverse order, but Willie, Nick, then Nate, and then 7 to 1. 24 hours to pick once the person before you picks. $50 again this year. There didn't seem to be much of an appetite for changing that. That's all I got. Good luck, everybody. Have fun this year. Hope it's a good one. Stay classy.